G'day everyone, and welcome back to Talking Everything AFL. Today we are diving into my AFL 2026 Round 4 tips, plus a quick look back at Round 3 tips, how many I got right, how the leaderboard is shaping up, and my updated brownlow predictor after Round 3. If you enjoy AFL content, tips, previews, and match breakdowns, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and if you want to support the channel even further, you can buy me a coffee. Link in the description. Alright, let's get straight into it. Let's start with my round 3 tips. For the round, I tipped 5 out of 7 games correctly, which is a solid result overall. The 2 games that I got wrong were Port Adelaide and Carlton. Both of those games were tough to read going in, and both had big momentum swings that didn't go the way I expected. Still, 5 out of 7 keeps me right in the mix on the overall tipping leaderboard. Here's how the tipping leaderboard looks like after round 3. First place with 19 tips, we have Daddy Odin. Then second place with 18 tips, we have Talking Everything AFL. That's me. And equal third with 2 players with 17 tips are Langers Losers and I Am Hacks. It's incredibly tight early in the season, and one bad round can completely flip the standings. Now let's move into my top 3 Brownlow medal vote getters after round 3. In top spot with 9 votes is Ian Dacos, Collingwood. Nick Dacos sits on top for me right now. His consistency, influence, and ability to impact games both in the midfield and on the scoreboard have been elite. He's not just accumulating the ball, he's damaging, composed, and constantly driving his team forward. In second spot with 7 votes is H. Sheezel from North Melbourne. Harry Sheezel has been outstanding once again. His football IQ, clean ball news, and ability to read the play sets him apart. Week after week, he's proving why he's one of the smartest and most reliable young players in the competition. And to round out the top 3, in third spot with 6 votes is C. Petrarca of Gold Coast. Christian Petrarca rounds out my top 3. His power, explosiveness, and ability to turn games with bursts of brilliance make him one of the most dangerous midfielders in the AFL. When Petrarca gets going, Gold Coast lifts with him. However, he is expected to be out injured for up to 8 weeks with a hamstring tear. Now we head into my round 4 tips. First game of the round is the eve of Good Friday clash. Brisbane Lions taking on Collingwood. Brisbane come into this game off a 33-point win over the Saints, a solid response that showed their midfield depth and ability to control territory. Collingwood were also impressive, knocking off the GWS Giants by 34 points, showing once again why they are one of the most consistent sides in the competition. Head to head, Collingwood have taken 3 of the last 5 meetings, but this one is at Brisbane's home deck, which is always a huge factor. Key matchup, Lockley Hill versus Nick Dacos in the midfield is mouth-watering delicious. Brisbane's forward pressure versus Collingwood's rebound defense. And thirdly, the Lions' ability to lock the ball inside 50. I think this is tight early, but Brisbane's home ground advantage tips it. I'm going to tip the Lions by 11 points. Second game, which is on Good Friday, is between North Melbourne and Carlton. Carlton have won 4 of their last 5 against the Quincas, but that stat is heavily skewed by North's rebuild over the past few seasons. This year feels different. Carlton are coming off a short 5-day break, and that matters, especially against a young, energetic North Melbourne side who beat the Dons last week by 12 points. Key matchup, North's young midfield pressure, Carlton's reliance on contested ball. I'm backing North to bring effort, hunger and legs. Therefore, I'm going to tip the Kangaroos by 9 points. The third game, Good Friday night footy. Adelaide Crows hosting Fremantle Dockers. The Crows went down to Geelong by 8 points, a tough loss that could easily have gone either way. Fremantle, on the other hand, were dominant, smashing Richmond by 60 points and looking extremely polished. Fremantle have taken 4 of the last 5 against Adelaide, but despite that, I am not overly confident here. Key matchup: Adelaide's midfield bounce back, Fremantle's defensive structure. Thirdly, who controls the stoppage? This feels like a coin flip game. I'm going to tip the Crows by 7 points in a very close contest, but with no confidence. Game 4, Richmond taking on Port Adelaide. Port have won their last 3 encounters against the Tigers and look far more settled structurally. Richmond are still in transition, and while they compete hard, Port's ball movement and midfield depth should be too much. Key matchup: Port's midfield speed, even though there's no Rose. Secondly, Richmond's ability to defend transition and forward efficiency. Therefore, based on all these factors and matchup, I'm going to tip the Power to beat the Tigers by 19 points. 5th game, West Coast Eagles hosting Sydney Swans. This one's pretty straightforward based on recent history. Sydney have won the last 5 straight against the Eagles. Sydney travel well, they are disciplined, and they punish mistakes, something West Coast are still prone to. Key matchup: Sydney's full pressure, West Coast defensive exits, and the midfield control. Therefore, based on these factors, I will tip the Swans to beat the Eagles by 18 points on the road in Western Australia. Game 6, Melbourne vs Gold Coast Suns. Melbourne have taken 3 of the last 5 games, but momentum matters, and right now, the Suns look seriously dangerous. Gold Coast speed, pressure, and scoring power could seriously challenge Melbourne's defensive setup. Key matchup: Gold Coast midfield burst, even though Petrarca is out, Melbourne's defensive intercept game, and transition scoring. Based on these, I'm going to tip Gold Coast Suns to easily win by 35 points on the road at the G. Game 7, we got Western Bulldogs versus Essendon. The Bulldogs are coming off the bye, while Essendon lost to North Melbourne by 12 points, and they start the season at 0-3. Have not won a game yet, the Dons. The Dogs have taken 3 of the last 5 games in their past encounters, and this matchup heavily favours them again. Key matchup: Bulldogs midfield dominance, Essendon's defensive pressure, and clearance differential. I think this one gets ugly. I'm going to tip the Doggies to smash Essendon by 48 points. The final game of the round, the Easter Monday Classic, Hawthorn vs Geelong. Hawthorn had the bye, whilst Geelong edged Adelaide by 8 points last week. Geelong have won the last 5 against Hawthorn, but streaks don't last forever. Key matchup: Hawthorn's fresh legs, Geelong's experience, and pressure across 4 quarters. This feels like the week the Hawks finally break through. Therefore, I'm going to tip Hawthorn to win by 8 points in a close one. The 2 teams with the bye this round are St Kilda Saints and GWS Giants. My round 4 tips are the Lions, the Kangas, the Crows, the Power, the Swans, the Suns, the Doggies, and the Hawks to all win their respective round 4 games. Let me know your tips in the comments. I'll reply to everyone. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, and if you want to support the channel directly, you can buy me a coffee using the link in the description. Thanks for watching Talking Everything AFL. I will see you in the next one next week.